Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Positive Change Podcast. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Camille.
On today's episodes, we're going to give you our thoughts on what we believe positivity means to us and how we think it can affect us in our daily lives.
Let's get positive.
All right, well, second episode. We're super excited about it. We're having fun. I think we're learning a lot, and we're learning a good amount about each other, which is pretty fun. This is kind of our date night in reality. We're able to talk to each other and learn some new things.
Use it as our date night.
Yeah, but I like it. It gives us time to ourselves to actually review on life and where we're at, and it's really nice. I like it. We're going to start off the episode today with a quote. The quote is, "Being positive is the knowledge that even on your bad days, there are better ones coming." So with that quote, I kind of want just thoughts from you maybe on positivity and what exactly it means to you.
With that quote?
Just in general.
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general. Positivity. Like what is being a positive person?
I would say being positive is probably more so of not just a mindset, but like your actions every single day.
Yeah.
You know, choosing to wake up in a happy mood instead of choosing to be negative, or like making it a point to make your thought process be happy and positive than negative and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you think it's always easy to be positive?
No.
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 I think it's super difficult, as a matter of fact.
It's very hard. I think sometimes it's harder for others. Some people can just wake up and be that way. Other people can have it a little bit harder of a time, depending on things. I'm a person that I find it very difficult to wake up and be happy and be positive. Like I'm always thinking about the day prior of the things I've done wrong, and instead of just being like, today is a blank slate, today is the day I get to choose to be a different happy or positive.
So you would say that you reflect on the past more than you look forward to the future?
Yes.
That's interesting. I've never known that. I think for me, like, positivity isn't so much as a mindset, more it's your thoughts and the things that you do. For example, just like waking up in the morning. So if you wake up in the morning, like, depending on if you wake up early, if you wake up later, sometimes that can affect your mood. You know, if you don't have the full 8 hours of sleep or you don't have good sleep that night, it can affect your mood in the morning. I know me personally and you personally, like we have our kids, they wake us up in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's a little bit easier. But that definitely affects me personally. I struggle from that, and it makes it hard to wake up sometimes in the morning. And it does make it hard to be positive sometimes. It makes it a little bit more difficult for me to focus on the good in life and what's going on. But I think that along with that, the mindset that you brought up is a big part of that. If you instill in yourself, it's kind of like a habit. A habit typically, I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard or if you've ever heard, but a habit typically takes about 30 days to form, good or bad.
Yeah.
Now, it also takes 30 days to break that habit, sometimes even longer, depending on the habit. But that habit can be formed in a positive manner, negative manner. There's two different ways that it can be done. But if you focus on that positive, you're creating that positive mindset, or what I like to call a growth mindset. It's something that you're always looking to the future. You're always looking to a way that you can better yourself, or the world around you, or the people around you. But if you're instilling that in yourself, then it does make it easier to have those positive thoughts, that positive mindset that we were talking about. But it is hard. It's very hard. It sometimes, some days you're gonna have bad days. Some days you're gonna have good days.
Yep. I just today, this morning or maybe tonight, one of my aunts posted about RAS. It's something with your brain systematically that if you focus more on the negative things, it's basically like a computer, how a computer will code things for you and kind of put things in like important and not important. And if you're focusing on the negative, your thought process is going to be nothing but negative. And if you're focusing more on being happy or having happy thoughts or positive thoughts, you're more likely to think more of the happy things that you've had in your life rather than all the negative. So it made me think mindset does really play a huge role in how you choose to change or help those around you be also that way too.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's basically the idea that when you write a positive affirmation to yourself, when you write it down and you do it multiple times, but you put it in front of you so that you can see it every single day. The more that you see it, the more it's going to have an influence on your life. The same way that if you say something to yourself in the mirror, if you say like, I'm strong, I can do hard things along those lines, it makes it easier to actually start believing it. And that, like you said, it's the positive mindset that creates that, because if you're constantly reassuring yourself that you are strong, like you can do these difficult things in your life, it's going to be easier to do them.
Yep.
It's going to make it not exactly easier to do them, but it's going to make it easier to make the choice to want to do them.
Yes.
But yeah, I think a pretty good story that we have about kind of the mindset that helped us. We just got back from Disneyland. We took our boys for the first time, which was super fun, super cool. But also it had some rough times. It was difficult. We had never been to any sort of amusement park before.
With children.
Yeah, with children. This was our first time, and it was a little bit overwhelming and
a little bit underwhelming.
But it was also, there were certain times that were disappointing.
Yeah.
And then there was also other times that were very exciting and very fun.
Yeah.
But I think the main problem that we had is we went into this with the thought of our boys are going to enjoy this and they're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
And we thought more about ourselves than we did them. Yeah. We were trying to spend time with the group that we were with. Yeah. Our boys had a different agenda.
They had a way different agenda.
But about, what was it, halfway through the second day that we were there,
we were like, okay.
We talked about it and we made the decision that
it's gonna be happy that we're here.
Exactly. We were gonna be happy because we were having such a bad time. Well, it wasn't. Oh, sorry, not a bad time. We were having a difficult time at that moment.
Yes.
Because the boys were misbehaving. They were screaming. They were yelling.
They wanted to do other things. Yeah. We wanted to be with our group. We wanted to be able to spend time with our group. And they didn't want to be doing what they were doing. They wanted to be going to Toontown and doing all their own things and playing. And not being attached to a stroller 24/7. So it was just more of taking a step back and being like, we need to just let them get what they want, essentially.
Well, and I think that created,
not in a way, but like, let them have fun.
well, and I think that created better memories for you
Yeah.
and me as well.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole purpose of this trip, was to create more memories and just be
A family.
a family, exactly. And it was a good trip. It
Yeah.
was a really good trip, especially for their first time. Now, obviously, we wish there were some things that we had done differently. Wish we got some more pictures for
Yep.
sure. We didn't get enough pictures, but there's always next time.
Yep.
And that'll be fun.
Always next time.
Always next time. But with being positive, there's also a limit to positivity.
There is a limit.
You can be over positive
to the point where it's toxic.
Yeah, not just for yourself, but for those
Others.
around you.
Yes.
Right? And I mean, good example of that is really just you're kind of that person that is always trying to influence someone to be positive. You're not taking into account other people's feelings. You're just saying, no, you can be positive. You're always positive. Positive is good. Positive is the best.
It's like how do I explain that? It's like when people look at you and you're having a really hard time. I'll give you an example. Like me being a mother and me complaining about certain aspects of being a mom. And people always telling me, well, you're a mom. That should be great. There are people who can't be moms. There are XYZ. And it's like, I am grateful that I am a mom, but I don't need you to tell me that I have to be that way. I'm allowed to be like, this is hard and this is not always fun. This is not always a good time. And I think that's where the whole concept of toxic positivity comes from, is we always try to, if someone complains about something, well, someone has less than you. And it kind of just makes it to the point where you're like, well, now you even feel worse. Instead of making you feel better, it makes you feel worse. And it just creates this spiral of now you want to be better, but you can't be better because no one else. You're taking more on the side of everybody else.
People are quick to judge.
Yes.
Yeah, people are judging you based on the fact that
you can't be happy and positive.
Exactly.
About your situation.
Well, and they're thinking that because they heard this one time that you're negative, that every other moment in your life is negative. It's like, no, this one moment in my life, I'm having a negative.
I'm having a hard time.
Thought, because it's tough. Being a parent is really hard.
Well,
for all you parents out there, anybody who knows, being a parent is difficult. You have good days, you have bad days.
Yeah.
But it's worth it 100% in the end, because your kids truly bring the joy that you want in your life. If that's what you want. If you don't, cool. You have plenty of ways to find joy in life. For us, we wanted kids, and the kids truly bring some of the greatest highs in our lives, and they also bring some of the lowest lows. But I think with that, they are so genuine and show such innocence that they're just learning. They're trying to figure out who they are in this world, just as we're trying to figure out who we are.
Well, and you never stop. You never stop figuring out who you are. It's very hard for me to say that I know who I am. I don't think I will know who I am in my 80s. I really don't. You are constantly changing and evolving with society, with the way your life is going currently, with everything. So to say that you know who you are, like, more so in the sense of, for sure, this is who I am, this is who I will be, your personality will stay the same. My personality has changed from high school to being married and in college. I'm completely opposite. of what I used to be.
I think with that, like there's certain aspects that stay the same, like core values stay the
Yes.
same. Things that you personally believe will stay the same. Not always, some things will change, but for the most part, personal beliefs, personal, feelings and stuff like that, those will always stay the same. But personality is something that changes over time,
It
and
evolves.
it's up to you how that personality changes, whether it's going to be a positive or a negative personality. Positive personalities are the ones that, lend the helping hand. They're the ones that try to do good in this world. They're the ones that want to help others. They're the ones that, people kind of want to be around just because they uplift.
Yep.
They bring that joy. And it doesn't mean that they're not negative at times. It doesn't mean that they don't have the hard moments, and
there are always going to be moments that are bad.
Absolutely.
There are always going to be moments that are good. I really enjoy listening to like certain actors and actresses, but specifically one actor who's a director who has his own podcast. And he kind of just went on another podcast, and he's like, for some reason, I've become this like role model for men. That I'm an amazing husband. I am an amazing dad. I am great at what I do. I go to the gym. All the XYZ. And he's like, and sometimes I can be a real jerk.
Yeah.
And he's like, there are still days where I am not 100%. And he's like, and I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes, but it's on you to choose to either sit in it or to go, hold on, step back and be like, hold on. And then look at the person. If you're hurting someone, I'm sorry, I don't mean that. Or instead of sitting in your pain and your sadness from doing whatever, instead just go, let me change my whole mindset currently. Let me try to do this thing again, because mistakes are happening. Mistakes always happen. And whether they're negative or positive, you can always learn from the mistakes, build on the mistakes, but it doesn't mean you need to sit in them. You can always kind of like build a bridge. Get over it.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of profound to me. Like that's really big, because oftentimes we dwell on the past. We dwell on a lot of the hardships that have gone on in our lives, and that's what kind of molds us into the person that we are, rather than letting the things go, rather than building that bridge and letting those things go. I think one of the easiest ways to then start that road or that journey towards creating that positive mindset is small acts of kindness throughout your day. It could be as simple as opening a door for someone. It could be as simple as smiling at someone. You see someone who's down and you just say, hey, I noticed you're looking down. I hope your day gets better.
My favorite thing to do is when I'm at the grocery store and I see a mom wrangling a toddler, and there's a look when you see another mom struggling with their toddler, or even a dad. Sometimes I can see it in a dad. And you just kind of look at them and go, you're doing a great job. It's that our kids are obsessed with Bluey, and there's this one episode that I cry every single time I watch it.
I know which episode you're talking about already.
And it was, a moment where she's had Bluey, and Bluey is not sort of like passing all these milestones like every other kid. in her nursery or her, I would say, mommy and me class or whatever. And this other mom comes over and brings her kid over to play with Bluey. And she just kind of shows a picture of all of her kids. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I thought this was your first." And she's like, "Oh no, like I've done this.
Got like 9.
I've done this before." And she just kind of looked at her and went, "You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
You're doing what you need to do." And that to me, like I've had it said to me when I'm wrangling our 2 kids, and a mom has walked up to me and been like, "You're doing a great job."
Yeah. I've had some, so between guys, well, we like to be macho sometimes, but we give each other looks where it's
Yeah.
like they're struggling with their kid, and it's
Mhm.
just like we kind of look at them and we're like, "You're doing good, man. Like,
Mhm.
don't worry, this is
Yep.
gonna pass." Like,
Yeah.
and that
This too shall pass.
exactly, good old Tom Hanks. That man is brilliant, and I think that is a mantra really that everybody should accept into their lives is even on those hard times, even on those hard days, this too shall pass. I think that is so profound, so big that, you know, even in those difficult times, you're going to have an end. That time will come to an end, but even in those positive times, even in those good times, that is also going to end.
Well, I like any small act of kindness is a big thing, but I think once you get to a certain point in your life, whether it's you have kids or whether it's you're struggling to have kids or, you know, XYZ, there's always some way that you can make someone's day better, whether that's you're paying it forward for the person behind you, or a simple smile, a simple holding of the door, or, you know, just walking up to a parent and being like, "It's okay, you're doing great." Or the other thing with, I have a friend who struggles with infertility, and the biggest thing, you know, is just kind of like being like, "What can I do for you?" Instead of being more in the sense of it'll happen. It's just more so in the sense of, what can I do for you? What do you need? Do you need support? More support? Do you need me to just come over and sit with you while you sob? It's just more so in the sense of, what can I do to help you feel better about your situation? I always feel bad because it is hard to watch other people go through things when you want something so bad.
Maybe that's the main thought that you have to have going into wanting a positive mindset is, what can I do for the other person? What can I do to make someone else's life better? Because you can't help someone if you're not personally in a good mindset. So if you try to help others, I guarantee, because I've done it before and it's something that has changed my life, is looking to someone else and just asking them, "What can I do for you? How can I help you?" Or if you see something that needs to be done,
do it.
And you do it, it changes everything.
It changes everything.
It may not change everything right away, but if you do it consistently, every time that you see something that needs to be done, if you just go ahead and do it, it's going to change your life. It is going to change your mind. It is going to change your relationships, your behaviors, and the behaviors and relationships and all those of the people around you.
Yeah.
That's what's changing lives. That's what's changing people in this world, is small acts of kindness. Someone else looking out for you or looking out for other individuals.
I guess then again, because I'm a mom, everything is either mom related, or because I'm a military brat, everything is military related. And for me, like, small acts of kindness that happened when I was a teenager and a a child was like things that people did for my mom when my dad was deployed. Just little simple things like bringing dinner and having us over so she could have a break by having kids play together.
Yeah.
And she could talk to somebody.
Yeah. Social aspect.
Yes. Other ways, it's watching, those videos of like teachers, professors of single moms who can't find somebody to watch their kids, so their kid has to come to class.
Yeah.
And the professor just holds the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Or at a restaurant, their kid runs up to a total stranger. And at first, as a parent, you're like, no, don't do that. Stranger danger. But when it's the right person, I feel like kids always know who not to go to and who to go to. And they just... There are some people who are totally fine with being okay with talking to people with other kids. Like Disneyland with our boys. Our boys like to make friends very easily.
All the time.
And our oldest just...
Every single kid he saw.
Every single kid.
Hey, meet my new friend.
Yeah.
Meet my new friend.
Meet my new friend.
Come on, friend, let's go.
Yeah. Met this one friend, and the mom thought our boys were just so darn cute. Yeah. She was like, you're giving me baby fever.
At one point, I had to pull our son aside and tell him, hey, I love your enthusiasm. I love that you are so happy and nice, but it's kind of weird to want to hold hands with a person that you just met.
Yes.
I mean, I love it, and I love the positive energy
cute,
and the love that you're putting out, but maybe get to know them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, Dada. And I'm like, cool. It was so funny, but it's just, kids are like that. They're like I said, they're still learning,
They're
and
innocent.
they're trying to figure things out, and it's guiding people. They're teaching them in the right ways.
Yes.
That show them what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that like what he was doing was wrong. It's just, we still have to be cautious of everything that's going on, because the world we live in is a different type of place. It's not as accepting of those types of things. And sometimes that change can be enacted by, those kids, by us, by anybody. And that's what's called, it has many different names, but you got domino effect, you got the butterfly effect. There's so many different
what's
names.
The other one? There's another one. I can't remember.
There's tons of them, but those are the only two that I just like instantly already know about. The ripple effect. That's the one. But you just create one small change that then creates another, and then sooner or later you have a completely different world.
Butterfly effect. When a butterfly
flaps its wings, a simple air current can change literally everything.
Yep.
But it's crazy to think that the small acts of kindness, the small changes that you can make in your life can have such a big impact.
It ripples down
on the world. Now, sharing that is the biggest aspect of it. If you have that positive change in yourself, helping someone else to also have a positive change is what creates it.
Yeah.
Because if you are so focused on yourself, that can also be dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Because then you're only focusing on changing yourself. You're not focused on also helping others. And change can't happen in this world if you're only focusing on the change in yourself.
I think it's really hard, and it does sound like a balancing act. But it is.
It is hard, and it is a balancing act, because you have to make that change. You have to make that choice, and making change is very difficult.
It's very hard,
and it takes time. It will take a lot of time.
I think a lot of people think that it's gonna be an easy task, and it's not.
And it doesn't happen all at once.
No,
it happens over time.
You have to.
It could take 2-3 years. It could take 50 years. It could take as long as you need.
Yep.
As long as you're willing to try. As long as you are willing and you know that you have something that you need to change. Now, if you're already putting out these good vibes, that's awesome. Keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that just creates the positive change that this world needs. It creates the positive influences. But if you feel like you aren't delivering
Mm-hmm.
on what you want to do and what changes you want to make in your life and the lives around you, then it's time to maybe sit down and reassess yourself, reassess your personal situation, and try and find what you can do to change.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll save that for a different episode. I don't know, maybe the next episode?
Maybe. But there is never a right or wrong time to make the effect happen. Make the butterfly, make the ripple, make the domino effect happen.
Yeah.
It is on you to make that choice and make that change.
Absolutely.
Be the change.
Be the change. And we'll leave you with how we want to really end every single one of our episodes, and that is to be the change in the world, to change the personal narrative of your lives and change the narratives of society currently and
others around you.
Others around you. Make the change, be the change.
Change the narrative.
We love you guys, and we will see you next time.